Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for this video, I'm going to install this AEM Cold Air Intake in my 2020 Hyundai Veloster N. And if you want to buy this AEM Cold Air Intake, you could go to tatusmotorsports.com and make sure you use our discount code, which is linked down below, so you can save some money. Now, there's a couple of cold air intakes that you could buy for the Veloster N. I eventually ended up going with this one, and I'll tell you why at the end of the video. But for now, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this thing, which is the installation of this intake into this car. And it is currently 4:20 in the afternoon, so let's see how long this install takes. So you've heard it from the outside. What does it sound like on the inside? So driving here, third gear, and with the windows up, let's just play with the right foot a little bit. Out there. Maybe I need to go to second gear. There it is. So obviously the exhaust is a little bit more overpowering, but from the driver's seat I do hear the flutter a little bit from the front. So there it is. So if I can kind of compare this to like the band experience or something like that, you know, the exhaust is like the drums out back. It's loud, it's prominent, you'll always hear it. But with the intake sound, it kind of adds another dimension to it. You know, it's like the lead guitar, and you just hear it every once in a while. It's pretty sweet. So let's roll the windows down and see if we could hear it a little bit better. So again, let's go down to second gear. Driving around 3,000 RPMs. Definitely more pronounced. Brings a smile to my face. This is awesome. So back to the intake for a little bit. Let me roll up the windows. Back to the intake, there's 3 or 4 intakes that I know of that's applicable for the Hyundai Veloster N. There's the AFE Takeda air intake, the K&N, the AEM. There's also the Forge intake. Now I ended up going with this one primarily because I wanted the sound experience. Now this might not be the best overall intake. I think the stock intake itself is pretty damn good, because when I took that off, the inside diameter of that tube was pretty generous. So I think the stock intake is good enough, but again, I wanted the sound experience. And as shallow as that sounds, the sound experience when driving a car is like what brings you joy. That's the reason why I bought this car to begin with, is because it sounds ridiculous out of the box. So again, call me shallow, I just want that more orchestral experience in the Hyundai Veloster N. So the AFE Takeda, that's like a closed airbox, so the sound isn't going to be as raucous as this. It's going to be almost as similar as the stock airbox. Now, it's freer flowing, so once I put a tune into this thing, it's going to produce more power. How much more power compared to this one, I'm not really sure. So if someone out there has done the work, please link or comment down below of your efforts. But so I ended up going with the AEM air intake, and so far so good. You know, I like the sound. The install was really easy. Again, it took me about just an hour to put everything together, to film, to set up, and to clean up. An hour. That's really easy. When it comes to the build quality, I think it's just so-so. Some of the trim I had to cut myself and install it myself. Not a big deal, pretty easy to do. But when it comes to the heat shield and how it interfaces to the structure of the car, when I took off the stock airbox, I really liked how Hyundai has put in the anti-vibration mounts on the stock airbox, and for the AEM version, there is no such thing as that. So it's like a sheet metal that's bolted directly onto the car structure. So how is that going to behave in the long run? I'm not sure. There's lock washers on there, so it shouldn't really undo itself in the long run. But I like how the OEM layout was. I'm not sure how the AFE Takeda airbox looks like. I got a feeling that reuses some of the OEM hardware, but when it comes to the AEM, you just use the provided hardware. There's no anti-vibration feature. So whether you go with the AEM Cold Air Intake or the AFE Takeda or the K&N intake, make sure you check out TatisMotorsports.com. You could buy all those intakes from them, and make sure you use the code down below so that you can save yourself some money. There's a lot more Hyundai Veloster N stuff coming in the future. The next mod I want to do is probably the most important one I can do for a car, and that's wheels and tires. And I'm looking forward to getting my new wheels installed and getting new tires installed. That is going to improve the looks of this car. So that is coming up very shortly in the channel, and once that's available, I'll link to it up here. But until that time, please make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, so that you can get notified anytime we make a new video. Let's wrap it up right there. My name is Hanson. This has been the 2020 Hyundai Veloster N, and let's make that intake sing again, shall we? Woohoo! Yeah, it's a good sound. I love it. I'll see you next time.